Do you want to be generic? Do you want to be generic? Or you want to be the brand? Who you want to be? Hey everyone, I'm Daniel from Beazy, and today we're going to talk about the power of brand photography. We are visual creatures. If you think about it, every time we read something, a book or a text, it doesn't really matter. We start creating images in our head to understand better what we are reading. For example, if you think about also books for kids, they have images because they can help kids to understand better the story they are reading. So that being said, it's very easy to understand why nowadays visual storytelling is becoming a very vital and important marketing tool. Brand photography is one of the tools you can use in order to make your customers understand who you are as a brand, and you can invite them to your story. But what is brand photography? If we can summarize the meaning of brand photography, I would say that it is basically a collection of cohesive images. And these images will take your client to a journey. And why? Because they will make them understand who you are as a brand, and they will give them also this sense of familiarity and authenticity. If I can give you an example, just think about Nike for 1 second. They have one of the best brand photography or brand in general you can find out there. If you see the picture they created, it's just basically people trying their best in training. And that's basically the feeling you will get from Nike as a brand. You know that you don't have to be like at the Olympic Games to be a professional, but you can train as a professional, as hard as a professional if you push yourself to the limit. And this is what Nike did in order to create his image as a brand. And that's exactly what they want you to feel about their brand. And that is exactly what brand photography is all about, conveying the message you want to your customers. If you want to achieve the same great result, well then you have to make sure that your brand photography is well executed. And by that, I mean that you should hire a professional photographer or professional creative for that matter. And try to stay away from stock photography, because even if it's very high quality, but stock photography is very generic. And so for example, the same image you will use in your website to convey a certain message could be used in another website to convey a very different type of message. So if you want to make sure to convey your unique message, well then you have to invest in brand photography. Because think about it, if you're not willing to invest in your own product, how can you expect clients to invest in you? Even before start looking for the right photographer or creative for your brand, well, you should absolutely understand what kind of message you want to convey. And if you're not sure about what I'm talking about, here are some tips for you. Number 1, expertise. Show your potential customers that you're an expert in your field. Make sure they will understand that you are the best option to go with. The second one is the features of your product. Make sure to showcase your product as its best. So basically you can highlight all the feature it has and all the benefits your clients can get from your product. In this way, you are telling your customers why they should pick your product over the competition. Number 3 is your purpose. This is the right moment where you can show your potential customer what you stand for, your values and the issues you care about. And that's because if a person relates to your values, well then it's more likely that this person will do business with you. Number 4, your process. You can create a bunch of images showcasing how your product is being made, or how is your routine at work, how your company works. And because sometimes people do not relate to the product itself, but they can relate to the people behind the product. And the people behind the product is basically your brand. Last but not least, number 5 is emotions. Just think for 1 second about the Adidas campaign with Muhammad Ali. One of the most iconic pictures used in that campaign was basically Muhammad Ali while he was boxing. And those kind of pictures, they have the power to spark emotion inside your potential customers or your already customers. And if you can make people feel those emotions, well, then they are more likely to relate to your brand and therefore to make business with you. Okay, so after you decided what kind of story you want to tell, well, then make sure your brand photography is aligned to your brand identity. What I mean about that is that, for example, if you are a fashion brand and your brand identity is the rebel one, you can try and go for this kind of punchy look and maybe urban style look. But on the other hand, if your brand identity is more elegant, well, if you go for a urban style one or street style, well, then maybe it's not the best idea because they will not be cohesive. So make sure that your brand photography is always aligned to your brand identity. Okay, those were our tips for you today. And if you're thinking about starting your own brand photography, but you don't know how because it could be overwhelming actually, and we know that, well, do not worry about it because we have your back. Beazy is one-stop shop for content production. Whether you're a big or small brand, we have your back. With a large community of creatives, wide range of location and professional equipment, you will have all you need to get your message across. Okay, folks, this was it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please give us a like. If you're interested in more content like this one, you can always subscribe to the channel, or you can always read our articles in our blog. The link is going to be in the description below. Please make sure to comment this video, and if you have any questions or doubts, we are more than happy to answer. I'm Daniel from Beazy, and I'll see you the next time.